All right, everyone, welcome back. I hope everyone had a decent lunch. So David McLean, we're just waiting for the pretrial services officer to zoom in because maybe they've had some contact with your client. So they should be here shortly.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Anyone else ready? Okay. Then that will give me a chance to continue on paperwork. All right, thank you. And these are done. Thank you. All right, I see that there is a Veronica, I believe, who just came in.
Yes, Judge, and that's the,
I don't see her on the Zoom screen now. All right, Norma, I believe here she is. Veronica Barta. Veronica Barta. Yes. Veronica Barta.
Whatever volume's up.
Ms. Barta. All right, let me chat her.
My audio is working now. Yes, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so we're here on Joshon Steen. Have you seen him?
He reports to me. Yes.
I mean, when's the last time you saw him?
We're teleworking, so none of the defendants report to the office, but I did just speak with him on the phone yesterday.
All right, because he's scheduled for a hearing in this court today and he's not here. And we're here to address this second violation report that the court is in receipt of. Do you have any information other than what's in the violation report?
No, ma'am.
All right, do you have telephone information or something you can share with his attorney so we can get him to Zoom into this meeting?
Yes.
And his attorney is on the screen. He's listed as David McClain.
Okay.
Judge, just so you have, well, maybe you've got a new phone number or something, but I've got his phone number. I have texted him, I have called him, and I have sent emails to him regarding this hearing today, multiple times.
I do think the number I have is a new one. Let me check.
Okay, that might help me.
Really?
What?
You're here?
Oh my gosh.
Slow, when you pick up the phone, I talk back to the.
No, because you don't wear a mask. Mira.
No, I have a mask.
Uh-huh.
I was at my desk.
Let me see.
A good outfit.
See, I won't be.
Okay.
Okay, I have the 71975. I mean, 719.
Oh, I'm sorry. Could you put that in the chat box? So, because
Oh, yes.
we're live.
I apologize.
That's okay.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Judge, is Norma available?
Yes, who's asking for Ms.
Uh,
Ferguson?
Mr. Desmarais?
Yes.
I'm doing paperwork.
No problem.
Did you receive that, Mr. McLean? And they are both 210 area codes. Oh, you're on mute, Mr. McLean.
Sorry about that. I clicked off. I thought the interference was coming from me. I've got the first number, but I did not have the second number. Let me try and text that second number right now. See
All
if we
right,
can
thank you.
raise him. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Sure. And then Ms. Barsha, if you can remain with us, because I have some questions regarding the violation report.
Judge, I'm going to call him as well right now. Give me 1 minute.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Luis Martinez.
Yes, Judge.
Yes. Which case are you here for?
I'm here for Josué Cervantes, Judge.
All right, is that still going to be a contested or no?
No, Your Honor, we've got a full agreement on that case and the new number one.
Okay, and is your client in the courtroom or is he on the Zoom?
Should be on Zoom, Judge. I'm looking for
I
him.
don't see him. Mr. Cervantes?
I can get a hold of him and get him on there, but we've got a fairly
Okay.
good and complete agreement we want to knock out today.
All right, thank you. Mr. McLean, you're back.
I am. Judge, I heard from Mr. Steen on that second number that the probation officer provided to us. He is on his way down to the courthouse right now. He said he's got to call an Uber, so it's going to probably take him somewhere around 45 minutes to an hour probably to get there. I don't know how that works for the court.
Okay,
I'm available if you are.
so he's saying he'll be here in an hour?
That's probably, he's about a 30-minute drive time and he's got to call an Uber.
Okay, how's he been getting around going to, allegedly, it's still allegedly, how has he been able to go to these different places when he's on GPS and he's not supposed to?
So he's
You're not-
a GP, was that
Oh,
question?
no, go ahead, Ms. Barton.
He's on a monitor. So the unapproved locations that he's been stopping at, he travels to different, he works for a company and he travels to different locations throughout the day with them to make deliveries and that kind of stuff. He's traveling with another employee, like a higher level employee when he,
Okay, so what is because maybe we can resolve this. What is this issue with him going to William Wagner Apartments? Because that's one of the unauthorized stops that's on this list.
Yes, Your Honor. So this is what I talked to him about yesterday when I did some further investigation. There is a store location. He has a victim zone, an alleged victim zone in one area. And I was seeing that he was traveling to just outside of that victim zone or a little past just outside that zone. So, I mean, naturally, I would think that he was going, to around the victim zone. However, after further investigation, I saw that there is a store that his employer asks him to deliver to that is like just outside of that zone.
Okay. Is there a family violence prosecutor available on Joshon Steen? It's a violation report.
I am, Your Honor.
Okay.
Hey, Michelle.
Hi.
All right, Michelle, this is on Joshon Steen. It's his second violation report.
Mm-hmm.
Just one moment, please. All right. So on this case, Ms. Hayden, I don't know, do you have a copy of the violation report?
I just got it.
All right, so the issues are the unauthorized stops. And pretrial services is telling me they've been investigated and there's a reason for these unauthorized stops.
Okay. I mean, if there's a reason for them that's explainable, I know our victim is very fearful of the defendant. So I just want to make sure it doesn't have anything to do with her. I mean, it doesn't sound like it through pretrials investigations, but I know safety is a concern for us.
Okay, let me do this. If I could see all parties, including Ms. Barta, I'm going to send us all to breakout room number 1 because this is sensitive.
Bet.
So Ms. Barta, if you could go to number 1, and Ms. Hayden, if you could go to number 1, and Dave McLean, if you could go to number 1, and I'll meet you there.
Thank you, Judge.
Judge, I'm not a co-host right now. I signed out from this.
Okay, let me make that happen. We're all getting back into the groove.
Well, I sign out when I step away just because I'm like, if I'm doing anything stupid in the background.
Okay.
Caitlin, are you there?
Yes. Who's speaking?
Marcus, can I?
Oh, hey, what's up?
Breakout room?
Yeah, let me hop in.
Okay.
Actually, I'm not a co-host. Can you put me one?
Yeah.
Thanks.
All right, anyone else ready? Mr. Toshi, you're back.
Yes, I am, Judge. I'm sorry, I popped out, but I'm here on the plea, which should be ready for you, and then we have the other matter that was called.
All right, is this Mr. Suggs?
It's not mine, no.
All right, who is with Jack Suggs? Speak now, or forever hold your peace.
I can't hold my peace, Judge. How you doing? It's Greg Damaray.
Okay, I'm like, where are you? Who is the prosecutor on Suggs?
Marcus Sanders was helping me, Judge.
Okay. And let me see where Marcus is. He's in number 8. Is there a prosecutor who could stand in?
Very straightforward plea, with just 2
I can
years
do it.
TC.
Judge, I can do it, Tom.
Thanks,
All
Tom.
right, thank you.
Yep.
All right, the court is calling 2021 CR 10545, State of Texas versus Jack Suggs. Could I have parties announced for the record, please, for the state,
Tom Nisbet.
for the defense?
Greg Damaray for the defendant.
And are you Mr. Suggs? Could you unmute for me, please?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
We're proceeding by video because of the pandemic. Any objections from the state?
None.
Any objections from the defense?
No objections, Your Honor.
Mr. Suggs, I'm showing you what's entitled Defendant's Consent to Appear by Video Conference. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? And
Yes,
did you
ma'am, I-
electronically sign it?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily consented to appear by video. Defense, I'm showing you the discovery acknowledgement. Have you received all the discovery in this case, and did you review it with your client?
I have, Judge. All discovery's been met.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Suggs, I'm showing you what's entitled True Bill of Indictment. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it?
I did, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
Yes, Judge. We waive the reading of the indictment.
State, it appears you're proceeding on the indictment as presented. Is that correct?
Yes, Judge.
Mr. Suggs, I'm showing you what's entitled Court Admonishments and Defendant's Waivers and Affidavit of Admonitions. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it in all the appropriate places?
I did, Judge. Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand what you're charged with is felon in possession of a firearm? That's a third-degree felony. The range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 10 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea bargain agreement. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea bargain agreement and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, Judge.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call and the right to remain silent?
Yes, Judge.
Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, Judge.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea bargain agreement in this case?
I did, Judge. Yes.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses to this offense?
He has, Judge.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
I believe so.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Suggs, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
Not at all, Judge.
Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea bargain agreement to get you to enter this plea?
No, Judge.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
I am, Judge.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, Judge.
Court will find that the defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Next, I'm showing you the plea bargain page. Did you review that page with your attorney and did you understand it?
I did, Judge. Yes, ma'am.
According to the plea bargain agreement, punishment is to be assessed at 2 years in the prison. There are no applications. The state will take in consideration County Court Cause number 668-295. Did you understand that to be the plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Judge, I did.
Defense, is that the plea bargain agreement?
It is, Your Honor.
State, is that the plea bargain agreement?
Yes.
Next, I'm going to show you the paragraph entitled Waiver of Appeal paragraph. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you electronically sign it in both places?
I did, Judge. Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
I did, Judge. Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have there been any such motions?
There haven't, Judge.
Then to the offenses charged in the indictment, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
State any evidence to support the defendant's plea.
We offer Exhibit 1 and attachments.
Any objections?
No objections, Judge.
Mr. Suggs, I'm showing you what's entitled Waiving Consent to Stipulation of Testimony and Stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it in all the appropriate places?
I did, Judge. Yes, ma'am.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call and the right to remain silent?
I did, Judge. Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there will be no live testimony? Did you understand?
I did, Judge. Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states Exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same.
I did, Judge. Yes, ma'am.
All right, after reviewing states Exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and the court will find you guilty. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Our Judge, we'd ask to waive the PSI.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Your Honor, the one thing I would just like to note, he is on parole. He understands that this can have a definite impact on that. And is that correct, Mr. Suggs?
Yes, sir.
And you still wish to go forward with this plea?
Yes, sir.
Other than that, Judge, we'd ask you to follow the plea bargain.
And the case that he's on parole for, is that the case that's making this a felon in possession? Or
Yes,
is it
ma'am.
some other
Yes,
case?
ma'am. It's out of Gonzales County.
Yes, ma'am.
Judge, it's another case, but we don't have the cause number for it.
Another
Right,
case out of Gonzales.
Do you have a cause number for that, Mr. Demarie?
I do not, Judge.
Judge, if I could jump in, Tom, sorry. It looks like I'm looking at the indictment here. His predicate felony making him a felon is a local judgment, but his parole case is an out-of-county judgment. Just
Thank you. That's correct.
And we don't have that parole number or anything?
I don't, Judge. Jack, do you know that case number?
I can give you my TDC number. I wouldn't know the case number.
All right. Well, here's the thing. I usually will run things concurrent with parole. I don't have any jurisdiction on parole to force them to run this case concurrent with that. If you had already been revoked on your parole, then I could run this concurrent. So I usually say that, for whatever help it may give. You understand?
Thank you, Judge.
All
And I've explained that to him as well.
All right, thank you. So the court then will follow the agreement, sentence you to 2 years in the prison, give you credit for any time served. Take in consideration county court cause number 668295. And I will state for the record that this is to run concurrent with your parole.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Next, I'm going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you electronically sign it?
I did, Your Honor.
All right, because this is a plea bargain agreement and because I followed the plea bargain agreement, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
I do, Your Honor.
And because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons. Do you understand?
I do, Your Honor.
If there's a question over what a weapon is, then you'll need to contact an attorney for the definition of a weapon. Do you understand?
I understand, Your Honor.
All right, we can go off the record. How old are you, Mr. Suggs?
35.
All right, you've heard the speech before. I'm giving it to you. You're getting to the point in your life where you have more of your life behind you than in front of you. You only have a few more years. And then after you cross that point, unless you're planning on living to 200, You know, you gotta have to make changes. I personally don't mind living to 200, but Greg, if they still try to have us working then till we're 185, then I'm out.
Hear
So,
you, Judge.
Mr. Suggs, you easily could have been killed and somebody else could have been killed. Do you understand?
I understand, Your Honor.
If there's a drug or alcohol problem, there are plenty of places that are free. Do you have any children?
I do not.
All right. So be a better person, all right?
I do. I will.
Okay.
I understand.
All right. Good luck to you, Mr. Suggs. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you, Mr. Murray.
You got it. Good luck, Jack.
Thank y'all.
Bye.
And if possible, if I can get in the breakout room with Mr. Star, I could finish that
Okay,
paperwork.
sure.
Thank you.
That is he's in number 2. Were you in a previous breakout room, Greg? Oh, there you are.
I may have been, yes. Thank you.
All right. Who is the person on Spencer, Thomas Spencer?
That's me, Judge.
I'm Judge.
Jim
Oh.
Tochi.
There we go.
Oh, sorry.
All right. The court is calling 2021 CR 0823, State of Texas versus Thomas Spencer. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state,
Meredith McIntyre for the state.
for the defense?
James Tochi for Thomas Spencer.
All right, and are you Mr. Spencer?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
How do you pronounce your middle name?
Email.
Emil. Okay. Mr. Spencer, I'm showing you a document entitled Defendant's Consent to Appear by Video. Did you review that document with your attorney? And
Yes,
did you
ma'am, I-
electronically sign it?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
The court will find that the defendant has knowingly and voluntarily consented to appear by video. We're proceeding by video because of the pandemic. Any objection from the state?
No, Your Honor.
Any objection from the defense?
No, Judge.
Mr. Spencer, I'm showing you what's entitled Application for Community Supervision. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you electronically sign it?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Counsel, I'm showing you the discovery acknowledgement. Have you received all the discovery in this case, and did you review it with your client?
Yes, I did, Judge.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Spencer, I'm showing you what's entitled True Bill of Indictment. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
Yes, Judge.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Spencer, I'm showing you what's entitled Court Admonishments and Defendant's Waivers and Affidavit of Admonitions. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Did you understand you're charged with driving while intoxicated third or more? That's a third-degree felony. The range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 10 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea bargain agreement. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea bargain agreement and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial? A right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call in the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement you were giving up those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea bargain agreement in this case?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses to this offense?
Yes, he has, Judge.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the
Yes.
charges against him?
I do.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Spencer, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea bargain agreement to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, ma'am. I
Are
am.
you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Next, I'm showing you your plea bargain page. Did you review that page with your attorney and did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
According to the plea bargain agreement, punishment is to be assessed at 3 years in the prison. There's a $1,000 fine. The state recommends community supervision. Did you understand that to be the plea bargain agreement?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense, is that the plea bargain agreement?
It is our deal, Judge.
State, is that the plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
Next, I'm showing you the paragraph entitled Waiver of Appeal. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it in both
Yes.
places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have there been any such motions?
No, ma'am.
Next, I'm showing you outside the plea bargain agreement. The state is requesting that your community supervision be for a term of 3 years. There be a TAP evaluation, 120 hours of community service restitution, 10 days in the Bexar County Jail, DWI intervention, victim impact panel, 180-day Texas driver's license suspension, and ignition interlock. Did you understand those are recommendations from the state, and the court does not have to follow those recommendations?
Yes, ma'am.
Into the offenses charged, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
State, any evidence to support the defendant's plea?
State offers State's Exhibit 1 and all attachments.
Without objection, Judge.
Mr. Spencer, I'm showing you what's entitled Waiver and Consent to Stipulation of Testimony and Stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports? But most importantly, there will be no live testimony. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
The court will find that the defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. The court will accept into evidence State's Exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same.
No, they do not. It tastes like cancer. It's palpable.
Right. Can I see the parties briefly in a breakout room? If I could see you all in breakout room number 3, please. Mr. Toshi, were you previously in a breakout room or no?
I was, Judge. I do not recall which one it was, but
Okay, I found you. So I sent you to number 3. If you could meet me there, please. And Ms. McIntyre, if you could meet me there.
right, y'all come here. Keep your mask on.
You're muted, Judge.
Brenna, I'll get that back right. You know, we've been on, how long can I ride out? We've been on vacation. And then people say, okay, it's been months. All right, the court has had a chance to review State's Exhibits 1 and attachments, and based upon those, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and the court will find you guilty. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Judge, we'd ask the court to waive PSI and sentence today.
All right, is there anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
No, ma'am, he's been in custody for quite some time. I think he's ready to get out and comply with the court's orders. He does not want to stand about what he needs to do to avoid that. So we ask you follow the agreement, Judge.
All right, Mr. Spencer,
Yes, ma'am.
are you employed?
Yes, ma'am. Well, yes, ma'am.
What do you do?
Construction cleanup.
All right, when did you first start drinking?
Young age,
What is young?
19, 20.
Okay. Well, it appears from your history that you're one of those people who cannot drink and stop drinking. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
So what that means is, and for the remainder of your life, it's probably best for you not to drink at all,
I understand that.
because otherwise you may find yourself in and out of the prisons, right?
Correct. Yes.
So when you were drinking, how often would you drink?
Uh, Before this time, I was drinking like 2 to 3 times a month.
Do you have any children?
Yes, I have 3.
What are their ages?
22, 21, and 16.
Okay, are they living with you? A 16-year-old?
The 22-year-old is.
Okay. They say children always come back home, Brenna, no matter the age. All right, so state, it's not listed on here and defense is not listed with regards to the ignition interlock. Is there a specific time period that you all have agreed upon, but it didn't make it in the paperwork? Because I know sometimes it doesn't print everything.
Yeah, Your Honor, I would just ask for half the term.
Yeah, that was my understanding as well, Judge.
All right, Mr. Spencer, do you need treatment?
If I do, I know where I have a place I could go.
Okay. All right, I usually start people unless it's major addiction, and I think every addiction really is major, but sometimes there are some people I can start with outpatient treatment. Some people I have to start with inpatient treatment. So I'm going to start you with outpatient treatment, but if at any time you feel like you need something more, you've got to let us know. It's no sign of weakness. It's a sign that you know how to maintain sobriety. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so this is what I'm going to do. Sentence you to 3 years in prison, suspended and probated for 3 years, $1,000 fine, probated, 120 hours of community service restitution. 40 of those hours will be waived if you obtain the COVID vaccination. The court is not requiring anyone to obtain the COVID vaccination, but if you do, then it will be 40 hours will be waived. DWI intervention course, the victim impact panel, 180 days of Texas driver's license suspension, ignition interlock for half the term, proof of employment, within 30 days. There's to be no employment as a home health care provider or with minors.
Okay.
AA meetings 2 times per week. And what that means is you can do it on Monday, you can do it on Friday, you can do it any day of the week you want, but you're not going, those 2 days can't be 2 in 1 day. So if you are late getting your, James Toshi will come back in. If you're late getting your 2 in a week, you can't say, oh my gosh, let me just do 2 on Saturday and be done. You understand?
Yes,
So
ma'am,
you
I
need
do.
to do at least 2 a week on different days. And we're waiting for your attorney to zoom back in.
Okay.
And I think that may be him. Nope.
Justin Hernandez with the 227.
Hernandez. Come on, man. Hernandez. Oh, this kid is gonna be sick for the teaching and talking. Hey, what's the vitamin C, Hernandez?
Judge, I think Mr. Tochi's back.
Okay, awesome.
Oh, yeah, I've been here. I'm sorry, Judge. I did not know you were waiting on me.
Oh, yeah,
I'm sorry.
that's okay.
I've been communicating with Mr. Nisbet. He should have said something. It's
Okay. All right, so we're gonna do AA meetings 2 times per week. And we'll start with outpatient treatment with probation. And we will do 10 days in the Bexar County Jail. And I'll show that that judgment is satisfied. There's to be regular reporting by Zoom or in person. So if you cannot report by Zoom, you'll need to report in person. Do you understand, Mr. Spencer?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Rebecca, is there anything else that he needs?
Were you gonna do field visits, Judge?
Thank you. There'll be field visits 1 time per month,
Okay,
and that will be random.
all right.
All right, Mr. Spencer, is there anything else that you need from the court in order to be successful?
No,
All right, I'm going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it, and did you electronically sign it?
yes, ma'am.
All right, because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
And because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
If you have a question over what a weapon is, you'll need to speak to your attorney for that definition. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
All right, we can go off the record. Mr. Spencer, it's obvious to the court that you have a drinking problem. Whenever you drink and get behind the wheel, so many things can go wrong. You could end up killing someone, and people usually don't intend to drink, get behind a wheel, and kill someone. But usually that can end up happening. And when it happens, you know what I've discovered? I've discovered that the person who's usually hurt is not the person who's drinking and driving. It's usually the passenger or somebody else. So don't be the person who ends up drinking and driving. You hit someone, and then after you hit someone, then you're crying because someone is injured and it's your fault. You understand?
Yes, ma'am,
So you're going to have to not drink at all.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I'm going to send you to breakout room number 3. Probation will meet you there, and probation will go over conditions with you. Mr. Toshi, you can go to room number 3, or you can be excused.
Well, Judge, I have one other client this
Mhm.
afternoon. I'm not sure you recall Mr. Villarreal. I'm just asking that a bond get set, and I think you wanted the paperwork brought over for that.
Yes, just give me one moment.
Is there anywhere I can sign today?
Who is this speaking?
That was my client, Christopher. They're not in a position to give us the offer that we want, like we talked about. Just let's get the bond set and work from there. Sorry, Judge.
Sure. So the state is not in agreement? Is that what you're saying?
Well, they need to communicate. It's an assault public servant, and they need to communicate, I believe, with the complainant before making a concrete offer. And
No, I mean, just with the issues of bond.
oh, no, they have a recommendation. Ms. McIntyre is right there. She can give you her rec. It's his previous bond was 20,000. I believe she's recommending 25.
That's correct, Judge.
I'm asking the court to just reinstate his bond of $20,000, or if the court could see fit to actually go lower.
Just one
Although
second. Hosu? Who is this person, Josue or Hosu? You need to keep your video on.
Judge, that's my client. That's Mr.
Okay.
Cervantes.
And Joshon Steen, you need to keep your video on. To all of those who are defendants or accused, you need to keep your video on. All right, before we go on to work record with Mr. Villarreal, State, can you tell me, is the only reason he's remanded without bond is because the bondsman got off his bond? Or is there something else?
So it appears that the bondsman got off his bond. I didn't have all the information when I conferred with Mr. Tochi last, but the bondsman got off his bond days after an arrest on a separate case that we eventually ended up dismissing. And then he picked up a new offense, but the bondsman had already submitted that back in July.
Okay. All right, and Mr. Toshi, did you follow motion or no?
Judge, I did not. I was unaware that he was remanded on that until today. So I just am bringing it to the court's attention.
All right, if the state has no objections in proceeding today, Mr. Toshi, if you can send a motion over to the court so I can have that.
I can do that.
All right, state, are you going to have any objections to proceeding with a hearing on a motion to set bond?
No, Judge. I don't know if that's something, Mr. Tochi, were you prepared to go forward with a hearing, or how do you want to?
I certainly can. If we're going to do it now, I'm as ready as I'm ever going to be. So.
All right, so Mr. Toshi, if you'll send over a motion to the court, email it and we'll go forward.
Okay, I
Thank
can
you.
do that, Judge.
All right, who are the parties on Edgar Star?
Marcus and Greg.
And everyone, I'm sorry, just give me one slight moment. All right, so Mr. Steen, I need you to unmute yourself.
Hello, you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. All right,
Yes,
so
ma'am.
Mr. Steen, first thing first, who is your attorney? Is Mr. McLean your attorney or do you have another attorney?
Mr. McLean was my attorney, and then Cleo Marshall I hired during the process, but it hit like right towards the end. I already had hired him, but I was making payments, and he wasn't able to come in until I made the payments, and then once I had got done with the
Well,
payments,
no. Here's the thing, Mr. Steen. I always tell people, please do not put your entire business for all the world to hear. My only
okay.
question for you was, who was your attorney? And I'm
Okay,
sure, time out. I'm sure people will tell you, because I've been a defense attorney and I've been a prosecutor. People will tell you, and even I say this in my mind sometimes, it's like, well, people answer the question. Like if a question is asked of you and the question is, do you have roses in your garden? That's either yes or no. It's not like, well, I have some daisies and I have some gardenias and this is what I'm doing. So my only question for you was, is Mr. Marshall, is Mr. McLean still your attorney? That's a yes or no question. No backstory is needed. If there's a backstory to it and there needs to be an answer about some backstory, then somebody will ask you that. So let's pretend like it's the new year, which it is. And so my question to you is Mr. McLean your attorney?
not no longer.
That's either yes or no.
No.
And please do not use double negatives. English teachers do not like that.
I know, sorry.
Because when you say no, not no more, that means that Mr. McLean is your attorney. So, Mr. Marshall, are you Mr. Steen's attorney?
Yes, I am, Your Honor.
And have you filed a notice?
Yes, I have.
All right. Mr. McLean, we have cleared that up. Do you need a backstory, Mr. McLean?
I do not, Judge. I wish everybody the best. Thank you, Your Honor. Appreciate
All
your
right,
help.
thank you so much, David.
All
I
right.
like those jerseys behind David.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Those have a backstory.
We're gonna want that backstory.
We'll talk.
Right.
Maybe excuse, Judge.
Yes, you may be excused. Thank you so
David,
much.
David,
Thank you.
that's just for this case, not the misdemeanor.
Oh, that's just for this case.
Yes.
Okay.
We'll talk. If you need to call me,
Yeah.
at me chat.
Let's touch base. I'll get a hold of you and we'll figure out where we got to go and what we got to do and go from there. So, all right. Yeah, we'll figure it out. Thanks, man.
Thank you.
All right. So, Mr. Steen,
Yes, ma'am.
you're here because this is a second violation report. And the violation report is you going to different places. I called to have pretrial service officer here and they said that they've cleared that up. Ms. Barta, is that correct?
That is correct. Yes, Your Honor.
So there's no issue with the stops, or these stops have been explained to your satisfaction?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Steen and I spoke about it and we cleared up the terms of the GPS, the stopping, and then the location in question that we were talking about.
All right, so then your recommendation would be that his bond not be increased, that there be the same conditions?
I am fine with that, Judge Floyd. Yes, I do feel that we have a better understanding. And yes, Your Honor.
All right, and state?
Judge, based on what's stated in the violation report, we don't have an issue with not making a modification based on that.
All right, so Mr. Steen, it is very important that you not violate your GPS conditions. So you have a choice to make. And your choices are, you can be on bond until this case is heard, or maybe you can be at the Bexar County Jail where this case is heard. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And I know this goes without saying, but you are not to have any contact with the complainant, and you are not to be in the complainant zone where the complainant lives. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, anything else from either other party?
No, Your Honor.
Nothing from me. It looks like I did a good job.
Yeah. Your client is raising his hand, Mr. Marshall, so maybe not.
Steen, Mr. Steen, whatever you need to talk about, talk with me off record.
Okay.
And Ms. Barta, thanks for coming in. In the breakout room, when we were in there with Ms. Hayden and Mr. McLean, I told Ms. Barta, pretrial services, whenever I call them, they Zoom right in. I'm going to test my theory. I think if they're in the hospital getting surgery, they will answer from the hospital bed and come in and let me know what's going on. So I appreciate you coming in, Ms. Barta.
My pleasure. Thank you.
All right. And Ms. Barta, before I release you and let you go, do you need to speak with Mr. Steen at all or his attorney?
I don't believe so. Mr. Steen, you can give your attorney my contact information, my email and my phone number. We did speak yesterday and we cleared up everything. So I'm fine. You can call me later today if you need to, or email me.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
All right. Thank you all. You are excused.
Your Honor, I'd like to say Happy New Year to you and to everybody in your court. I think this is my first appearance this year. So Happy New Year to everyone. I see you have Greg Damaris there.
Happy New Year to you, Cleo. That's correct.
He's been hiding from me. He's supposed to race me in the 100-yard dash, but he's been hiding. We'll catch up at some point.
That's a 20-year-old backstory, Judge.
Well, I mean, do I need to facilitate this?
We might have
Please,
to make it happen.
please don't. Please don't. It's down now to 10 yards. A shuttle run.
Okay, I will make it happen.
Thank
All right. Thank you all. You're all right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Mr. Steen, I'll call you.
Yes, sir. Am I free to leave, Judge?
Yes, you are.
Judge, this is Luis Martinez. Could I approach?
Yes, just give me one moment.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Martinez on Cervantes.
Judge, we've got a deal worked out, but the new case is still not unsealed.
All right, Mr. Martinez.
Okay.
The new case is still not unsealed. And so we'll need another day to get that done.
You're still on mute.
All right, and where is Mr. Cervantes? I know you have somewhere else to be.
Judge, he's under Josue. He's the one that he's
off my camera on accident.
He's on right now.
All right, Miss, did they give you a idea of when this will be unsealed?
We think it'll be done tomorrow.
All right, Ms. Ferguson on Cervantes, can you recall this for later in the week? And if you give us a date, please, in the chat. All right, you want to come in tomorrow, Mr. Martinez?
That'd be fine, Judge.
All right,
We
we'll
come in tomorrow
see you
afternoon.
tomorrow by Zoom.
Can we come in but in the afternoon, Docket, Judge?
Yes,
Okay. And what time is that?
that will be 2 p.m.
Okay. I'll see you
All
all.
right, thank you. You're
Thank you, Judge.
excused. All right, and who is on Star?
Greg Desmarais, Judge.
Okay.
Marcus.
Who is the prosecutor?
Marcus.
All right, the court is calling 2021 CR 10873, State of Texas versus Edgar Lee Star. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state,
Marcus Sanders.
for the defense?
Greg Desmarais.
And are you Mr. Star?
Need to unmute, Edgar, sorry.
Are you Mr. Star?
Yes, ma'am.
We're proceeding by video because of the pandemic. Any objection from the state?
No objection.
Any
No
objection
objection.
from the defense?
No objection, Your Honor.
Mr. Starr, I'm showing you what's entitled defendant's consent to appear by video conference. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you electronically sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily consented to appear by video. Next, I'm showing you counsel was entitled discovery acknowledgement. And you received all the discovery in this case, and did you review it with your client?
I have, Judge, and I did. Yes,
Court will
ma'am.
find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Star, I'm showing you what's entitled true bill of indictment. Did you review that document with your attorney, and did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
I do, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
I believe we're going on count 2, Marcus.
Yes, going on count 2, waiving count 1.
Yeah, that's the way he handled in his Crown Vic. He just grabbed
Any
it like that.
objections?
So you would have to go like this.
No objections, Your Honor.
Mr. Starr, I'm showing you what's entitled court admonishments. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand what you're charged with is possession of a controlled substance, felony group 1, less than 1 gram? That's a state jail felony. The range of punishment is anywhere from 180 days to 2 years in the state jail facility and up to a $10,000 fine.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand if you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea bargain agreement? If for any reason the court does not follow your plea bargain agreement and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you, and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call in the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement you were giving up those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea bargain agreement in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses to this offense?
He has, Judge.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
I do.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Starr, has anyone threatened you, forced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea bargain agreement to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Showing you the plea bargain page. Did you review that page with your attorney and did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
According to the plea bargain agreement, the state is proceeding on count 2. Punishment is to be assessed at 130 days in the Bexar County Jail under 12.44 of the Penal Code. There are no applications. This will run concurrent with 668-623. Defense, is that the plea bargain agreement?
It is, Judge.
State, is that the plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Judge.
Mr. Steen, I'm sorry, Mr. Starr, did you understand that to be the plea bargain agreement?
Yes, ma'am.
Next, I'm showing you what's entitled waiver of appeal paragraph. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by signing that in both places you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have there been any such motions?
No, Your Honor.
Next, I'm showing you outside the plea bargain agreement, the defense and the state are asking that you be given credit from September 1st, 2021 through January 10th, 2022 for the time served under County Clerk Clause number 668623. Did you understand that to be the request from the state and the defense?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you understand, unless there's a good reason for me not to give you credit for that, you will be receiving credit for that time? You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, then to the offense as charged in count 2, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
State, any evidence to support the defendant's plea?
Yes, the state offers State's Exhibit 1 and its attachments.
Any objections?
No objections, Judge.
Mr. Starr, I'm showing you what's entitled waiver and consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it in all the appropriate places?
Guilty, Your Honor.
Yes, ma'am.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call in the right to remain silent?
No, Your Honor.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there will be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that the defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments, and the court has reviewed the same. Court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and the court will find you guilty. Are we proceeding with sentencing?
Yeah, Judge.
All right, the court will follow your agreement, sentence you to 130 days in the Bexar County Jail under 12.44 of the Penal Code. Give you credit for any time served. That credit is to start from September 1st, 2021 to January 10th, 2022. And this will run concurrent with 668623. Is there anything else from either side with regards to sentencing?
Nothing from the defense, Judge.
All right, Mr. Star, I'm showing you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, with that, we'll go off the record. Mr. Starr, why were you in a wheelchair?
Last year, I went to sleep in the sun, and it shut my kidneys down. And they had to put me down. I lost the feeling in my left leg because of it, and they had to put me on dialysis to get my kidneys back to working, but they didn't get none of the feeling back in my left leg. They said I slept in the sun for too long, and it shut my kidneys down.
All right, so Mr. Starr, one thing, you can't be using drugs and having kidney issues. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
You really shouldn't be using drugs at all, but definitely not with kidney issues. So how old are you?
35.
All right, you've heard the speech, right? You're getting to that point in time where you're this close to having more of your life behind you than in front of you. And if you keep on the path that you're on, you may already have more of your life behind you and in front of you. So you're gonna have to start doing better. If you have a drug issue or there's some kind of issue in your life, they have free programs throughout Bexar County. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Starr, good luck to you, okay? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good luck, Edgar, and I'll talk to you in a bit about the other one, okay?
Oh, and I'm sorry, Mr. Desmarais, that sentence, does that result in him having any judgment satisfied for this case or no?
As far as the misdemeanor or as far as the felony?
The felony.
My understanding is that was going to take care of this case. Is that correct, Marcus?
That's correct. He has 132 days in on the misdemeanor.
All right, can we go back on the record briefly, Brenna? Then in cause number 2021 CR 10873, in the case of State of Texas versus Edgar Star, the court will show that the judgment is satisfied.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. All right, everyone, have a great rest of your day. Bye, Greg.
Bye, Judge. That was a good Monday.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
All
Thank
right.
you, Marcus. All right,
Bye.
bye-bye.
All right, anyone else ready?
Judge, I believe I'm ready with my client, Kendall Coleman.
All right, let me see if I have anything on Coleman. What are we doing on Mr. Coleman?
It's a plea.
Has all the paperwork been done?
Well, I've been asking, I haven't heard, but I've signed everything, and I think my client signed everything.
Mr. Coleman, have you signed paperwork?
No, ma'am, I haven't gotten any paperwork to sign.
Jeez.
They haven't gave me nothing. I've been sitting here the whole time.
All right, let me just tell you, because it was the new year and everybody's on vacation high for it being the new year, and we're still filled with the Christmas spirit, I didn't think I would have to tell people to put patience in their pocket, but Jorge, we're gonna have to put some patience in our pockets.
I went to the VA for an appointment in between, Judge, so I guess I should have checked when I got back.
Okay. All right, I'm sending you both to breakout room number 1 so we can see where your paperwork is. And I'll send a clerk to that room as well so we can figure out what's going on.
All right.
All right, thank you. Let me give these to you as well. So that one's done, and I'll give you this one. these two.
You got there, bud? You're like what? Deep fry? That's it. Were you working shift tonight? Yep,
Mr. Sandoval, what is happening with your cases?
I believe everything's fine, Judge. Your work doesn't, he signed everything, so I thought he was just in line.
Hey,
All right.
you gonna touch it?
It was your honor.
Okay, take it. Star.
All right, let me see what's happening with that.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, you're welcome. And what is your client's name, Mr. Sandoval?
Your Honor, I apologize if it's no longer on there. It was William Sparks.
Oh, he's still here.
No, but if his name is no longer with my name associated on that.
Oh, no problem. All right, so you're saying, do you know if Mr. Sparks received paperwork or no?
Yes, no, yes, he texted me that he signed both sets.
All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you to breakout room number 1. And Robert and one of the clerks, if you can go to number 1 and find out where Mr. Sparks' paperwork is for me, please.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome.
I go to breakout one room, Judge.
Yes, please.
There were some other folks in number
Oh,
one.
no,
here.
they all have the paperwork issue.
Oh, okay, okay. I'm
Yeah, so
sorry.
you're supposed to be in there. That's no problem.
I just didn't want to be involved in other attorney-client communication. Sorry, Judge.
Oh, no, they're just finding paperwork. And to the prosecutors, I think the only people we have left, I'm going to find out what's happening with Mr. Joe Barry Pope. Kathy Compton's case is being reset. And then we just have Villarreal. So everyone, just give me a moment.
Norma? Just sort here. Joe Ray, are you around?
Yeah, I'm here. Did you get it? Did they
The paperwork needs fixing. Yeah, you marked taken into consideration instead of concurrent.
Oh, yeah, I thought I might have.
And you left the two
On
out.
that part.
You left the two at the end of the. So he's hesitant to sign that.
Hold on, let me go. Let me send you into a breakout room.
Okay.
Okay, so everybody, we're just waiting on 2 more cases and then we will be done for today.
Judge, can I see you in a breakout room?
Yes, I'll see you in breakout room number 3.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, I have the paperwork, I believe, on Mr. Coleman. I think it's coming through.
Judge, there is going to be an oral correction to the plea bargain agreement. It's just a minor thing.
Oh, no problem. We'll take care of that.
Wrong box checked.
Okay. And has your client been sworn in?
I don't know, Judge.
Mr. Coleman, were you sworn in?
No, ma'am.
All right, let me put you in the breakout room number 2. Oh, and Mr. Canales, if you can go to 2 as well. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes. Hello. Some of those I don't have, the files that. Oh, is there a file that's missing? All right, we're ready on Mr. Sparks. Frankie Sandoval. Frankie.
There we go. Hi, Judge.
Hi. Oh, who are the parties on Sparks?
Michelle Hayden for the state.
And then myself, Your Honor, Frankie Sandoval, on behalf of Mr. Sparks, who is
All right.
appearing.
Court is calling 2021 CR 8571, State of Texas versus William David Sparks. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Michelle Hayden for the state.
For the defense?
Your Honor, good afternoon. Frankie Sandoval on behalf of Mr. Sparks, who's appearing via Zoom and has agreed to do so based upon the pandemic state of emergency.
All right, and are you Mr. Sparks? I need you to unmute. You're muted, Mr. Sparks. You need to unmute. All right, are you Mr.
Here I am.
Sparks?
Yes, Your Honor, I am. I'm sorry. I have a problem with my screen here.
That's okay. I'm showing you what's entitled defendant's consent to appear by video conference. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you electronically sign it?
Yes, Your Honor, I did.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily consented to appear by video. Mr. Sparks, I'm showing you what's entitled application for deferred adjudication or community supervision. Did you review that with your client? Your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you electronically sign it?
Yes, Your Honor, I did.
Counsel, I'm showing you the discovery acknowledgement. Have you received all the discovery in this case, and did you review it with your client?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Sparks, I'm showing you what's entitled true bill of indictment. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, Judge, I did.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
We do, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Sparks, I'm showing you what's entitled court admonishments and defendant's waivers and affidavit of admonitions. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, Judge, I did.
Did you understand what you're charged with is aggravated assault with a deadly weapon? That is a second-degree felony. The range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 20 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, Judge, I did.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea bargain agreement. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea bargain agreement and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call and the right to remain silent?
Yes.
Yes, Judge.
Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea bargain agreement in this case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand if the court were to grant your application for deferred adjudication, if for any reason your deferred adjudication were revoked, the court could find you guilty and sentence you up to 20 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine? Did you understand?
Yes, Judge, I do.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses to this offense?
He has, Your Honor.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
I do believe so, Judge.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
In my opinion, he is, Judge.
Mr. Sparks, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, Judge, no one has.
Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea bargain agreement to get you to enter this plea?
No, Your Honor.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, Your Honor, I am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Showing you the plea bargain page. Did you review that page with your attorney and did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am, I did, and I do.
According to the plea bargain agreement, punishment is to be assessed at 6 years in the prison. There's a $1,500 fine, which will be open to the court. State will make no recommendation on your application for deferred adjudication. There's to be restitution, if any, and no contact with Mary Trevino. Did you understand that to be your plea bargain agreement, Mr. Sparks?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense, is that the plea bargain agreement?
It is, Your Honor.
State, is that the plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
Next, I'm showing you the paragraph entitled waiver of appeal. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it in both places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, have there been any such motions?
There have not, Your Honor.
Then to the offense as charged, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
At the mercy of my court, Honor, I plead no contest.
State any evidence to support the defendant's no contest plea.
State offers State's Exhibit 1 and its attachments into evidence.
Any objections?
No objections, Judge. We've previously been given the opportunity to review this exhibit.
Mr. Sparks, I'm going to show you what's entitled waiver and consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Did you review those documents with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, Judge, I did.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call, and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there will be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor, I do.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right. Has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence State's Exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. All right, after reviewing State's Exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty. However, the court will defer finding of guilt as you've applied for deferred adjudication. Can I have a date of sentencing on this, please? For PSI, Ms. Ferguson, if you could put a date in the.
Yes, ma'am. Give me 1 second, Judge.
Thank you, no problem. All right, we're going to come back on February 23rd. Mr. Sparks, is there any drug issues with you?
No, ma'am, there is not. I'm 51 years old. I'll be 51 here in a couple of weeks. I don't do no more drugs or nothing like that. I just eat soda water and ice cream.
Okay, when's the last time you used drugs? And this is just for me to determine whether or not you need a TAP evaluation or not. Your answers to me is not in any way going to affect, well, let me put it this way. You're telling me about any type of drug issues you have is not going to negatively impact the PSI report. I'm just trying to make a determination on whether or not to give you a TAP evaluation, which is to see whether or not you have drug issues.
Oh, you don't know? It's been years, ma'am. No, it's been quite a while now.
All right, Mr. Sandoval, do you think your client needs a TAP evaluation?
Your Honor, respectfully, Mr. Sparks and I are naive when it comes to delicacies of addiction. He mentioned soda and ice cream. I'm addicted to both of those.
Okay.
In order for him to successfully complete a hoped for community supervision, everything needs to be on the table, Judge. So since we do not have the expertise, I believe it would be beneficial. And I know if it's determined based upon the scientific inquiry that Mr. Sparks would adhere to whatever is recommended.
Okay, so what we'll do is schedule a TAP evaluation. Mr. Sparks, your court date is going to be February 23rd at 9 a.m. So you need to make sure that you appear in court on February 23rd at 9 a.m. The courtroom is located at 300 De La Rosa. It's the 4th floor. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am. And yes, ma'am, I do. And what is this for again? Why do I have to
It's for sentencing date. It's for me to make a determination on whether or not to give you deferred adjudication. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor, I do.
All right, and so when you come down to the courthouse, you need to make sure you're wearing your mask.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and Mr. Sparks, make sure you make all of your dates with probation as well, because in addition to coming to court on that date, probation is probably going to have some dates for you as it relates to them interviewing you and making a judgment on whether or not they feel you will be appropriate for probation as well. You understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, do you have any
Yes, ma'am.
questions, Mr. Sparks?
No, ma'am, not at the moment. I'm kind of taken away right now. I'm at loss of questions right now.
All right, well, these are the things you need to remember. You need to appear in court on February 23rd at 9 a.m. Probation, I'm going to send you to a breakout room with probation. Probation will let you know exactly what you need to do. You know, the people you need to speak to, because those people are going to prepare a report for me. And I'm going to base my decision on whether or not to grant you deferred adjudication based upon that report and any other evidence that anyone presents to me. You understand?
Yes, Your Honor, I do. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. So, Mr. Sparks, I'm going to send you to breakout room number 1. And if you could wait patiently in there in number 1, and probation will be right with you. Mr. Sandoval, you can go to number 1, or either you can be excused.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
I'll go over, just to explain to Mr. Sparks where we're at, but then I'll leave him with probation afterwards.
All right, thank you. And Rebecca, this next plea that we're doing, there's no application.
Okay.
All right,
You're free. I'm free to go to that breakout room with them?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
All right, and who are the parties on Coleman?
That's me, Judge Jorge Canales.
Joe Ray for the state.
All right, the court is calling 2021 CR 10250, State of Texas versus Kendall Coleman. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Joe Ray Garcia.
For the defense?
Jorge Canales.
And are you Mr. Coleman?
Yes, ma'am.
We're proceeding by video because of the pandemic. Any objection from the state?
No, Your Honor.
Any objection from the defense?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Coleman, I'm showing you what's entitled defendant's consent to appear by video conference. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily consented to appear by video. Mr. Canales, I'm showing you what's entitled discovery acknowledgement. Have you received all the discovery in this case, and did you review it with your client?
Yes, I have, and yes, I did, Judge.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Coleman, I'm showing you what's entitled true bill of indictment. Did you review that document with your attorney, and did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
We waive, Judge.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Coleman, I'm going to show you what's entitled court admonishments and defendant's waivers and affidavit of admonitions. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand what you're charged with is burglary of a habitation with intent to commit assault? That's a second-degree felony. The range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 20 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea bargain agreement. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea bargain agreement and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you, and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you and your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call, and the right to remain silent?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you were giving up that right?
Yes, Your Honor.
And did you intend to give up that right and enter into a plea bargain agreement in this case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses to this offense?
Yes, he has.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
Yes, I do, Judge.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
I believe he is.
Mr. Coleman, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, Your Honor.
Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea bargain agreement to get you to enter this plea?
No, Your Honor.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes.
All right, the court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Mr. Canales, I think you stated off the record that there was some issue with the plea bargain page.
Yes, Your Honor.
Nobody
That's
else
the
would have
agreement.
ran back there?
Yes.
I believe the state could address it even better, Judge.
Yes, Judge. On the case, it says to be taken into consideration, it should be 2020 CR 9342, and it's the wrong box check. It should be concurred with. He's already been sentenced on the.
Okay.
For the record, that is the correction I was referring to, Judge.
All right. Any objections to the court making those corrections to the plea paperwork?
Not from defense.
All right, Mr. Coleman, I'm showing you what's entitled plea bargain agreement. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you electronically sign it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand, according to the plea bargain agreement, punishment is to be assessed at 2 years in the prison? There's a
Yes, ma'am.
$1,500 fine, and this is to run concurrent with 2020 CR 9342. There's an affirmative finding of family violence. There's to be no contact with Jessica Peterson, Peterson. Did you understand, with an affirmative finding of family violence, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand, with an affirmative finding of family violence, you're not allowed to be designated as primary custodial parent?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand that to be the entirety of the plea bargain agreement in this case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense, is that the plea bargain agreement?
It is, Your Honor.
State, is that the plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
Next, I'm showing you the paragraph entitled waiver of appeal. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it in both places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motion.
Yes, Your Honor.
The only thing that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, have there been any such motions?
No, Your Honor.
Then to the offense is charged in the indictment. How do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
State any evidence to support the defendant's plea.
It offers State's Exhibit 1.
Any objections?
No objections.
Mr. Coleman, I'm showing you what's entitled waiver and consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call, and the right to remain silent?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there will be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence State's Exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same.
I don't know. Someone.
Like this. All right, after reviewing State's Exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and the court will find you guilty. Are we proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Not at this time, Judge. We'd ask to follow the plea bargain.
Okay. Court will follow your plea bargain agreement, sentence you to 2 years in the prison, give you credit for any time served. There's a $1,500 fine, time and money to run concurrent. This will run concurrent with 2020 CR 9342. There's an affirmative finding of family violence. There's to be no contact with Jessica Peterson. And State, is the complainant aware of this agreement?
Judge, she's been trying to be contacted numerous times and we haven't got a hold of her.
Okay. All right, Mr. Coleman, I'm showing you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that document with your attorney and did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Because this is an affirmative finding of family violence, you also are not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
In either case, if you have a question over the definition of weapon, you'll need to contact an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, we can go off the record. Mr. Coleman, how old are you?
I'm 29 years old, ma'am.
All right, do you have any children with Miss Peterson?
No, ma'am.
All right, so here's the thing, that relationship is over.
Definitely.
Obviously, you're not ready for a relationship, right? I'm going to tell you what I tell everybody, get an orchid. When you get it from the store, it has its blooms on it, but you need to let that orchid be with you for a year. Let the first blooms fall off and bloom for the next year. If you're able to keep that orchid alive, then you know you may be ready for a relationship, because orchids require patience. They require love. And I tell people that not because I think an orchid is on the same level as being in a relationship. I tell people that because orchids will take you through different things. Do they not realize we're still in a hearing, Brenda? I don't understand deputies. It's like, okay. Hi, deputy. Let him know we're still in the hearing.
He left.
Yeah. So, Mr. Coleman,
Yes, ma'am.
you do not need to be in a relationship until you're ready to be mature enough for a relationship. If you claim to love someone, you should not be putting your hands on them in anger. And guess what? If you break up with someone and you're not together with them, and even if you are together with them, people can do what they want to do. If people want to see other people or be with other people, that's when you have a decision to make. Your decision is either I'm going to go along with this person being with somebody else, or either I'm not. And if you're not, then you just say, I'm done with the relationship. Period. There is no need for violence in any relationship. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Good luck to you, Mr. Coleman.
Thank you.
I'm sure your attorney, Mr. Canales, already told you that. But Mr. Canales, as my mom says, sometimes people need to hear it from complete strangers.
That's right,
Thank you.
Judge. I understand that.
All right.
I was
All right.
young once.
Yeah, okay. All right, Mr. Coleman, Norma, you can let them know 16D can go back.
I can leave?
Let the deputy know. They'll let you know.
Okay.
All right, and Ms. Ferguson, on Mr. Villarreal, we're going to recall him for tomorrow.
May I be excused, Judge?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, everyone. I hope everyone had a great holiday and everyone was extra careful, wore your mask, and we will be back tomorrow. There's no half days in this court, so bye, guys.